Welcome to a very, very snowy Coffee with a Purpose, everybody. At least the nine of us all have power at the moment. We'll
Yeah,
see whether it
that's right.
lasts through the session or not. But we're super happy to have as our principal speaker with us Jay Ball, who is going to be. Jay's done a gazillion things in town over the decades, but one thing that folks might not know about is this amazing um, work he did with fellow folks from his temple, uh, building stuff. So can't wait to hear that. We're also, when she gets a chance to join us, and hopefully she will, we'll take a brief time since it's still Black History Month. We've had short segments on Black History, the different Mondays in February, and we've got a sophomore from the high school who is going to join us this morning. Possibly this person on the iPad, but I don't know. So whenever that happens, maybe we'll take time out for that. Oh, it's Jianji.
That's
So,
Yeah.
um, let's see. Jay, often we start these sessions with people doing brief introductions of themselves. We could do that if you'd like, or we can pass on it. I know for me, one of the things that I'm most interested is the woodworking aspect of what you're doing, because that's my hobby and passion. So maybe folks could briefly introduce themselves and say, have they heard of arc builders? Do they know what a hammer is versus a screwdriver? We'll
Yeah,
give Jay some sense of the level of
yeah,
expertise in the audience here. Tom, let's start with you.
yeah. Hi, I'm Tom Daly. I've been a Natick resident for 35 years, and I'm active with Spot Kindness, a local charity. And I know what a hammer and a screwdriver is. That's about it.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Bill.
Hi, Bill Ramage. I know you guys, you and Ricky, and not terribly handy, but like to do things around town. So great to have you here and interested to hear what you have to say, Jay. Welcome.
Thanks, Bill. Cindy.
Good morning. Thank you for coming, Jay. I'm 5.5 year resident of Natick. I took shop when it was mostly girls did home ec and boys did shop. I did shop, and I did it again in high school, and I built some cubes to put a storage like spaces that I still have. And I am a trail steward in Natick and a singer, and I'm also very interested in history, and so that aspect of the arcs is like preserving people's history. So I'm looking forward to your talk today.
Thanks, Cindy. Alan Cantor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alan. I moved to Natick last May, so I'm always the newbie here, and I know a hammer from a screwdriver and nothing else. Thanks.
Thanks. Carrie.
Good morning, Jay. Just want to say I've seen your work at the temple some time ago. Thanks for the tour, and it was a pleasure to dine with you and Ricky a couple of weeks ago. It was nice. And one question: if that UPS had delivered that sweatshirt to you on time before the Super Bowl, the outcome of the game would have been different. Ricky wanted me to get a Patriots sweatshirt for him, and the UPS screwed up and didn't get
Oh,
delivered.
Oh, no.
Their fault.
As long as we get
Good to see you online, Jay.
Gianji.
Good morning, Jean Molnar. I'm 25 plus years, resident of Natick. I joined, or I'm a member of the Lutheran Church on Union Street and try to participate in different community activities through the church. I'm also a runner. Maybe you have seen me on the street. I'm running every day, 6 miles. Not today, unfortunately. I really miss this.
It's gonna send you today.
I stay warm and boring inside, so I have to find a good book. And I'm glad to join the today morning coffee talk because you are always so cheerful, and I'm always learning a lot through this community.
Great. Thank you. Sally.
Good morning, and I'm really looking forward to today's presentation, Jay and Alan. It's a great way to have a snowy day.
Mhm.
Happy birthday, Sally.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
happy birthday.
Doing a little
Happy
California dreaming.
birthday.
Oh, Carrie, I'm gonna get you later.
Yeah, you just turned 59, right?
I
Right.
did.
Yeah.
Again.
All right.
Thank you,
Brinley.
Carrie.
Good morning. Sorry, turning the thing off so it doesn't start whistling. Because it's coffee.
Right.
I'm a 25-year
Purposes going
resident.
Jay,
2 kids in the school system.
I'll forward you an
Really
email.
excited to have you guys here. My dad was an architect and building designer, and I spent a lot of my life on house sets. So I'm very familiar with tools. I know how to trim a window, but when it comes to other stuff and being an artiste about it, I'm definitely not that. And I'm happy to have you guys here today. Thank you.
Cool. That's great. I see Jay's actually stepped away from the camera for a minute, but in the meantime, his son Alan, who's here to help uh, show us the materials, can say good morning.
Yeah, sure. Good morning. Alan Ball. Let's see. I was an 18-year resident of Natick, 45-year emeritus resident of Natick, long distance resident of Natick. Um, I know a hack from a handsaw. It's a Shakespeare reference. I'm an actor by trade, so comes with the territory. But I actually do uh, used to do a lot of set construction and did a little bit of actual helping out on building houses and stuff, but not the creative um, carpenter that my father is.
Hmm.
But I do know the tools and they know me, and I still have 10 fingers.
That's good. All right. Cool.
I
Well,
do
yes, Sally, go ahead.
one more thing, excuse me, is that Pat would be here, but he's out with the snowblower right now.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And
Terrific.
He'll be out with that
all
for a
I can
while.
see is snow blowing up over my deck, and I thought it was a storm. No, it's Pat down there with the snow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we will get out there at some point.
And
but,
and I want to say that my birthday is in 3 days, so you're older than I am by 3 days.
yeah. Okay.
Mine's tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Look at his
Wow,
birthday.
yeah, mine was a couple weeks ago. We got a lot of February people
Wow.
here.
Hmm.
I
All
was
right.
also left out in my family.
Mhm.
They're all
Hmm.
March.
We have the newest family member. We have a new granddaughter that was born, what, about a week ago?
A week and a half ago.
Week and a half
Yeah.
ago.
Another February person.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So introductions are done. Jay is back. We'll turn it over to you, Jay. And like I said, if Maribel comes on at some point, we may, take a brief timeout for her presentation, but maybe she won't be joining us. So glad to have you here.
I'm just looking at the screen and I don't see Ricky on here.
I do not either. Yeah.
I just got her on.
What? She never actually came on.
She
I never
does-
saw her picture or her name
Yeah.
or anything.
I don't know what's going on with her.
Can she
computer.
come sit next to you?
I guess so. Hang on a second. I will call.
You guys are okay being in the same room? Yeah.
You do the split screen like we do here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. By way of introduction, my name is Jay Ball. I'm a 63-year resident of Natick. I now reside in a retirement community community full of old people, but very interesting people in Canton. It's called Orchard Cove. And we moved here about, I don't know, 2.5 years ago. But Natick is still home to us, and we're back in Natick a couple of times a week on average. Um, and we miss it. We really do.
We miss you
Anyway,
guys.
Me too.
do you want me to start my big speech?
Yeah, I would love,
Good.
unless you need to just resolve making sure that Ricky can participate. I don't know how you want to handle that.
I can't. She's coming here.
Okay.
Right, so I have to
Oh, here she comes.
There she
Hi,
is.
Ricky.
Hi, good
Hi.
evening.
Hi there.
I like the way your head shows up, but the rest of you doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Have a
For
seat.
the rest
Okay.
of
Oh,
you,
he's got the Patriot
Oh,
shirt.
she's got the
well,
shirt.
no, I've got the Natick 4th of July. I'm
Oh,
looking forward to what I think is going to be a parade next year, so I'm getting ready.
that
Hey,
sounds
Mother,
good.
if you can you
Right.
pull up a chair next to Dad?
Anyway,
Yes.
Yeah, with the
All right.
blurred background, it's she'll go in and out of focus
Yeah.
unless you turn that the blurred background off, like Sarah and I do. But
Mm.
yeah,
all right, roll the drums here, guys.
yeah. All right.
By the way, I have to thank my son Alan in advance for being the projectionist on this because for reasons known only to God, I was unable to do screen sharing and full screen at the same time. So Alan's gonna
Alan's gonna do his best.
Alan's gonna do his thing.
Alan may fail, but Alan will do his best.
Okay, so let me tell you about the Ark Builders. In the summer of 1985.
Should I roll the picture? The first picture?
Not just yet.
All right, you tell me when.
Uh, Summer of 85, the Temple Israel Board of Directors realized that they had a problem. And the problem was that there were the high holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, were coming, and there were more people who wanted seats than we could accommodate. So we decided to have a second service, a parallel service, and we were going to hold it in a tent in the back parking lot. And the tent that we got was a big one. It accommodated 400 people. And it wasn't a problem to rent the tent or to rent the chairs that we would need. The problem that we did have was that we needed an ark to hold the Torahs. We needed a couple of readers' desks, one for the rabbi and one for the cantor, and another miscellaneous piece of furniture that I won't bother to describe. Now, we could buy an ark, and we could buy the readers' desks. There were three problems. These things were bone ugly. They were very expensive. But the real problem was storage space. Every institution has a storage problem. And these are big pieces of furniture that we would only use for 1 week out of the year. So, where are we going to put these things? I was on the board of directors at the time, and it turned out that I happened to be the high holiday seating chairman. That was my job. So I foolishly volunteered to build an ark and these readers' desks. Now, I say foolishly, I would build them in a way that they could be either collapsed or taken
Yeah.
apart, but otherwise could be stored without taking up a lot of room. Now, I say I was foolishly because I had never designed a piece of furniture in my life. I never built a piece of furniture. So, but I've always had the attitude that if I haven't done something before, then I haven't failed. And if I haven't failed, then I don't know that I can't do it. So I'll give it a shot. So that was, like I say, it was really a dumb thing to do. But I was stuck with it. So I got together with three friends. Ben Greenberg, who owns Debson Paint and Wallpaper. I think a bunch of you probably know Benji. and John Miller and Fred Merkowitz. And I got John, who had some serious woodworking experience, to design the pieces. And the three of us built them. And Alan, go for full screen.
Thought.
Or whatever you can do.
All right.
Oh,
All right.
I'm sorry. Before we get there, yeah, this is what the gang looked like in oh golly, I'm not sure, but certainly not at the beginning. All right, there's well, there's a bunch of us. All right, let's go to the tent picture. Next, please.
He's working on it.
He is working. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, that's
my
what.
God.
So good job. So anyway, this is what the tent looks like. And I want to show you the pieces of furniture that John designed for it. Next slide, please. This is the reader's desk. As you can see, it's kind of utilitarian, but it did serve the purpose. These panels, I think, were hinged. The sides were hinged to the front, so the thing could fold up. Next slide, please. And this was the ark that John designed. The pieces screwed together, and as you can see, it's kind of clumpy looking, but it's an ark, and the curtains would open and the Torahs would be inside. Okay, so next slide. Oh, I have to tell you a little story. We built these things, and we thought, great, okay, we're all done. But about, I don't know, maybe 3 years into the mission, somebody buttonholed me and they said, could you and your friends build an ark for the Hebrew school? But it needs to be portable. We need to be able to carry it up and down a flight of stairs because the classroom's on the second floor and the rest of the temple's on the first floor. So I talked to the guys and they said, yeah, sure, we'll get back together again and we'll build a portable ark. But I said, I want to design it this time because I really didn't think much of John's designs. I thought they were kind of clumpy looking, and I wanted something that had a little bit of curvature to it. So this is what I designed, and these are actually the drawings for it. And next slide, please. And here's Ben Greenberg, many years ago. He's a lot younger, working on it. Next slide. This is Fred Merkowitz, who's passed away, also working on it. Next. And this is what's called a ner Tamid. Now, every ark has associated with it an everlasting light. And you might recall, I didn't make a point of showing it to you, but the ark that we built for the tent that John designed had a light that was hanging. Thank you, Alan. You can see it just at the very top of the picture. It's a little piece of glass, or a little, actually it's a vase. It's got a light in it, and it hangs out over the front of the Torah, of the ark. But going back now to this
Did
one.
somebody put that word in the chat? I'd like to see it spelled.
That word in it.
What this is called. Thank you.
Anyway, I knew that idea of having something hanging over the front wasn't going to work for a portable ark because it would carry it around, we'd swing back and forth and get broken. So instead, we chose to do something that was actually flat, and it's made up of a bunch of pieces of glass. This was done by a stained glass artist named Marion Jacobs of blessed memory, and so this wouldn't swing or bump as he carried things up and down the stairs. Next slide, please. And this is the finished product. This was my first design.
You ought to stand up and show them your shirt.
Later, honey.
I mean, it's got the arc on it.
This is no, you got good idea. I'll show them later. Okay, so hang on a second. I'm looking for something. I had a cheat
Yeah, I
sheet.
hope you're going to tell us at some point how in the world you get the wood to bend like that. But
Well, yes, as a matter of fact, good thing. The sides of this thing are made out of what's called door skin plywood. And it's plywood that's only an eighth of an inch thick. But it's plywood, but it's so thin that you can bend it a little bit. Okay. So
in the
the front,
direction of the grain.
so the front and back of the arc have grooves cut in them, and the curved plywood fits into those grooves, and that's what holds the shape. Okay, where am I? Okay, the next slide is a cartoon I had made,
what?
and these are I had provided the cartoonist with pictures of all of the guys, and
Was this Hannah?
No.
Pure?
No.
Oh.
And I'm not sure they're very good representation face of the faces, but it gives you the idea that we were pretty clumsy. We really didn't know what we were doing, but God smiles on stupid people, and so we managed to build this thing. The next picture. Now, this is my bathroom. And you're saying, what the hell is that bathroom have to do with all of this? Well, I forget what the bathroom looked like when we moved into the house, but I wasn't happy with it. And so I designed this sink and counter thing. And I wanted the cabinet under the sink to have curved doors. So I sketched it all up, not having the slightest idea of how to make the curved doors, but I wasn't going to make them, so it wasn't my problem. But I asked the cabinet maker, I said, how are you going to make those curved doors? And if you show me the next slide, please. He said, well, there's this material called wacky wood, and it's plywood, but it's flexible. You can actually bend it. And as you can see in the picture, it is. So, okay, with this flexible plywood in mind, next slide, please. This is my attempt at drawing. Okay, I am obviously not very skilled at drawing, but I wanted to make a sketch, at least not fabrication drawings, but a sketch of what this thing was going to be like. Well, this thing is a box that sits in the lobby of the temple, and it holds the taliesin, the prayer shawls that people wear on a Saturday morning. And so, okay, so next slide, please. So this is that talus box under construction, and you can get an idea of how it's built. Solid, regular plywood back, regular plywood in the front, and then you can see that we're going to put some wavy stuff over it. Next slide, please. Is in the process of building. Fred Merkowitz, the guy with the red shirt, had considerable weight, and we needed somebody to hold this thing down while we were screwing it to the form that was going to hold it. Fred and his friend Mr. Gravity helped us. But by this time, we had added a fourth member. The guy in the yellow, in the light colored shirt there, John Astor. Johnny had some woodworking experience, was a sweet guy. And so there were 1, 2, 3, 4, there were 5 of us by this time. All right. Okay, next one. The inside of this box, by the way, was supposed to have some towel racks. That was my vision. It's kind of towel racks to hold the prayer shawls. but I needed to bend them around corners. So I thought, oh, we'll make this out of uh, I forget what I wanted to make it out of, but I needed to bend pipe, and I had a friend named David Yarkin who had an electrical supply company, and I figured he'd have the tools to bend the pipe. So we asked David to come and help us, and he said, "Oh no, make it out of PVC." All right. And I have a heater to bend PVC. So David joined us, and here we are fooling. There's now 5 of us. Here we are fooling around, pretending to blow chauffeur, blow the horns out of these things. Next slide, please. So here's the box, and this is the back view of it. We decided might as well make some use out of the back volume, so it stores a lot of prayer books. Next. The top was going to be hinged, and I was going to, buy a piano hinge. But John Miller, who's, as I say, had some woodworking chops, said, "No, we should have a wooden hinge." So okay, you make it, and John did, and this is what it looked like. It's kind of a nice piece of woodwork. Next, here's the finished product, and it looks kind of like what my sketch was. Well, this is really the first thing that we had done that nobody had asked for. But next slide, please. But somebody asked for a bulletin board for the lobby. They said people are tacking things up all on the walls and on the glass of the doors. We need a bulletin board, but we need a bulletin board that's bigger than the lobby could accommodate. So rather than making something that was flat, that just had 2 sides, I made something that had 3 sides. It's kind of a spherical triangle. Next, please. And here it is under construction. Next. And that's the finished product. And it had more stick on the paper area than a flat thing would have. Next.
Jay, where did you construct all this stuff?
Oh, Ben Greenberg and his Deb Sand wallpaper had a big empty room on the 2nd floor that he used for shades, I guess. But basically, it was a big empty room with big work tables, and it had a table saw, a really good table saw. So we kind of said, that's our shop.
Wow.
Anyway, we decided
Ben was an art builder.
Yes, I told him that. Yeah. Anyway, the chapel, little chapel where morning and evening services are conducted, had a reader's desk, which was kind of a big, blocky, sort of square piece of furniture. And we decided that we were going to build something that was a little more elegant. So here's my sketch for what this desk was going to look like. It was going to have sides that were curved in, again, using wacky wood, and a front that was curved in. And next slide, please. So here it is under construction, and it looks pretty much like the sketch. Now the sides of this thing were sort of a complicated shape, and I couldn't figure out how to make a template to cut the sides. But I had this great idea. It turns out that corrugated cardboard will bend in one direction, but not the other, just like wacky wood. So I got some big sheets of corrugated cardboard, and we stuck them on the sides and trimmed it until it was the right shape, and then used that as a template. Next slide, please. And here's the thing under construction, and it looks pretty much like the sketch. Next slide, please. Here's the finished product. And this is one of my favorite pieces because you have to remember this replaced a square box, basically.
Yeah. And those sides, they're just glued in place, or are they actually screwed? Like I don't see any fasteners that come through.
Of course you don't see any fasteners because the fasteners are there, but then we veneer over it.
Oh.
Okay. This is not wacky wood that you're looking at. It's veneer. All right. So once the box had been constructed, we would veneer over all of the wacky wood surfaces.
Do you have a picture of the top?
No, please, sorry. Next, show me the next slide, please, Val. Oh, I go back one now. All right. Now, the height of the desk is chosen so that when you put the Torahs down on it, and it's the right height for reading. But when you're using a prayer book, it's a little on the low side. So this, you can see this gizmo at the top that's holding up the prayer book. Next slide, please. Again, here's some scraps of wacky wood. So we took advantage of the fact that we could bend this. And so here's a sketch of what this book booster is going to look like. Next. And here's the finished product. Once again,
Wow.
this is wacky wood and it's veneered. And once you see something bent and you can't, you say, how the heck did they make that? Did they cut it out of a tree? But no, it's pretty slick. I'll go to the next one, please, Al.
And Dad, the
Yeah, I'm sorry.
surface of the table was
Oh, I'm
not
sorry. The
wood.
surface of the table is covered with a what do you call it?
Ultra suede.
Ultra suede. Yes, it's an ultra suede
It was
top,
purple.
and it's surrounded by. Go back one now. Go on, another one. It's so the brown on the outside is Brazilian rosewood. You can't buy that anymore. It's a protected species. But at the time, we would buy it, and the inset is suede, and it's really.
But I
like
love the fact that it was suede to protect the Torahs.
Well, yeah. I mean, it could have been wood. That would have been all right. But yeah, it's kind of a classy piece of furniture. All right, if you'd skip ahead, oh well, next one. All right, so we were celebrating the building of this piece of furniture, and we had added by this time a fifth arc builder. It's the guy, John Astor, in the red shirt. Some months, maybe 6, 8 months before this, Johnny had come down with cancer. I forget which kind, but it was very serious and basically untreatable. And we visited Johnny at his house and brought a bottle of champagne. And he was lying in a bed in the living room, so he couldn't go up and down the stairs in his house. So they gave him a bed in the living room. And we brought the champagne. We said, Johnny, we'll drink this when you get well. And we thought to ourselves, really, we're never going to drink this. But 6, 8 months later, Johnny's in remission, and he helped build this reader's desk. And we celebrated, and there's us drinking the champagne. Johnny was dead 3 months later. And he was the first arc builder to go. Next slide, please. So here are the 4 remaining arc builders leaning on the reader's desk in the sanctuary. Behind us is the existing ark in the sanctuary. Now the furniture in this room, there was built when, honey?
In the 60s.
In the 1960s. Thank you. And in the 60s, dark woods were very common, and flat surfaces were very common. And so the reader's desk is, it's flat and dark wood, and the ark behind it is flat. Next slide, please. But I had an idea about, excuse me one second, I just shut my phone off.
While Jay's doing that, by the way, just as a quick update, I did hear from our sophomore, or rather her mother. They have lost their power. She initially contacted me by phone, but unfortunately they had forgotten to charge their phone, so they're attempting to get to their car to plug the car in to plug the phone in. But I think we will have a Black History moment in one of our March sessions. So I don't, she will not be
Where is she
joining us this
located?
morning.
I can't talk to you now.
Who was it?
I have no idea. All right. So anyway, I'll go back one. I want you to just keep in mind what this reader's desk looks like. And by the way, when they take the Torahs out of the ark and put them on the table surface of this thing, there are 5 people who have to stand around or behind it. And as you can see, it's I am busy. Please, I'll call you later. Otherwise, all right. So I want you to get a good remember what this existing reader's desk looked like. And by the way, remember what the arc behind it looks like. Next slide. So here was my concept for a reader's desk. It was going to be much wider, so it could reasonably accommodate all of the people who had to stand around and behind it. And it was going to be curvy. And it was also going to be kind of reminiscent of, I don't know if you've ever seen Torahs unrolled, but basically it's a very long sheet of parchment that's wrapped, rolled up around 2 poles. And I don't have a picture of it. But anyway, this was my idea of a reader's desk. Next, please. All right. And I began to sketch this stuff. I now had a computer program that would allow me to do these kinds of drawings. And it was a real step up from having to do things, I sketch them and draw them in a normal fashion. Next, please. So here we are working on this new reader's desk. And in the, hang on one second.
God.
Projects are getting bigger and bigger here.
Yeah, we're getting more ambitious and more confident, and say, well, we'll take on bigger things, right? So 3 of us, I think, went one day to the to a wood and tool store in Cambridge to buy some hardwood for this, and we're standing around, and this guy comes over to us. And next slide, please. I'm sorry, just keeping this. So this guy comes over to us and he says, I've overheard what you guys are saying, and you really don't know what you're doing, do you? And, we sort of took umbrage at that, who the hell are you? And Ben Greenberg says, I guess no, we don't. And the guy says, what are you building? He said, well, we're building an Amud. That's a reader's desk. And he says, I'm Jewish. I know what an Amud is. Would you guys like, and I'm a cabinet maker. I make furniture. Would you guys like some help? Well, you look at this thing and you realize maybe we do need some help. Next slide. Here he is. His name is David Freckman, and he taught us how to veneer. Okay. Now we had veneered the reader's desk in the chapel, that nice piece. But this thing had curves up the wazoo, and I'd never thought how difficult it was going to be to veneer it. But David was a real expert in this, and he taught us how to do this. All right, next, please. When children are being bar or bat mitzvah, they stand behind this reader's desk. And the little ones are so short that they can't be seen, right? Because services are conducted several steps up from where the congregation sits. And so sometimes the little kids are invisible. So we decided as a last minute to make a box that they could stand on. Well, how big is the box? Well, that depends on the height of the kid. So I made a box that was in two pieces that are different heights. So on the left is what a tall kid stands on, but progressively a slightly shorter one would stand on the thin part, the second from the left. A medium-sized kid would stand on the top or the bottom of the box, and a short kid would stand on the assembled box. And that kind of worked very, very well. Okay, next. There is the finished reader's desk. And again, it's the idea was to have the reminiscent of, or evocative, I guess is the right word, of an unrolled Torah. And so the two sides of the scrolls.
And I like the notch for the flowers.
Yes.
And yeah, it made a nice place to put flowers, and we put a light in underneath, and it's kind of jazzy.
Jay, did you need to get design approval from any, I don't know what the right term would be, elders in the temple or anything, or did you have full carte blanche to do whatever you want?
The answer I am very pleased to say is no. We just did it. Right? It was if you don't like it, then you cart it out of here.
There you go. Very good. Good. Excellent.
Johnny Astor had passed away while we were building this. And so we decided to dedicate this to Johnny. And we delivered it to the temple. We put it in. Oh, by the way, it has a feature in it. You can see that the sides, the scrolls, hang down. If you look at the very bottom of the picture, the scrolls hang down over the step. So how do you move this thing? How do you get it out of the way if you're going to have a wedding or something? Well, there's a jack, a car jack inside, and you can jack the piece up 5 inches and then slide it away. And that took some doing too. But during the time that we built this, Johnny died, and we dedicated it to him. And we delivered it to the temple, and everybody says, ooh, and it was a Sunday morning. It was a congregational breakfast. And everybody is in the sanctuary, I mean, in the social hall having breakfast. And Ricky and I went into the sanctuary, and we're sitting there a couple of rows back looking at this piece and admiring it, frankly. But we were looking at that arc behind it. Remember how square it was? And I look at Ricky and I said, I bet I know what our next project is. She says, I bet I know too. We both together said, a new arc. Next slide, please. Well, there's the new reader's desk and the old arc. And you kind of see the difference between the curvy idea and the flat idea. I'll take a next picture, please. So I decided, okay, I'm going to design an arc that has curves to it, and also that echoes the look of the reader's desk that we just did. So I wish I could point to things on the screen here, but the two heavy black lines are the two sort of book shapes of the existing of the existing arc. And the thing I was going to design is the purple curve that ran around. And my first thought was we were going to take the whole existing arc down. But when I did this drawing, I realized that we could leave the existing two side panels, the open book, and use them as support for the new ark.
Hmm.
Okay, see the side panels in the back. Okay, go out forward up. All right, those are the two black lines here, and that we could basically screw this new thing into the old ark, and the old ark would live at the heart of the new one and provide support. And I thought, gee, that's kind of a neat concept. Let's do it that way. And we did. Next slide, please. So here's a sketch. Now it's sort of a 3D sketch of the old ark, which is in very light gray, and the new one. Next, please. Well, this was a project that we figured we did have to get permission for, because we were gonna change, something very central to the whole synagogue. So first thing, so we showed the design and this picture. I'll tell you about it, the picture in a minute, to the rabbis and to the board of directors, and astonishingly, they said, "Yes, looks great. Go ahead." So we realized that there were just five of us, and we couldn't possibly do this by ourselves. And this was just too big a project, and we were going to need help. So one Sunday morning at a congregational breakfast, we showed people this picture. Now, this is a picture of the ark, but it's actually what it is it's a Photoshop job that I did. I took a picture of the reader's desk, and then I photoshopped it into an ark. And so we showed this picture to the congregation, and we were asking, would people like to help us? And we thought, we'll get 8 or 10 people, maybe 12. At the end, we had 88 members of the congregation working on this. And that turned out to be a joy and a wonderful thing that we hadn't envisioned. Next slide, please. Well, here are some of my drawings for the ark. You can't see the details, I'm sure, but you can see it was very complicated. And next slide. All right. I like what you did there, Alan. Thank you.
Well, I was trying to zoom in on the other one.
Well, that's all right. So I had trying to figure out how to make these very tall cylindrical columns, and it turned out we built those out of not out of wacky wood. We built those out of pre-curved plywood. You can actually buy plywood that's in half round or quarter round pieces, and in all kinds of sizes. But we had to join them together. So here's a thing about how the hell do we join them? Next slide, please. I took pictures of each person who would come to work. Okay. And in those, we call the builders of the new ark. And this was a thing that we had in the lobby. And I would photograph each person who came to work on it and add their photograph. And we left it there sort of as an incentive for other people to say, holy cow, look at all that. I got my friends working on this. I want to do it too. And indeed, that got us up to this number of 88. Next, please. The people who worked on this, their ages ranged from, how old was Jenna?
6.
This is a 6-year-old Jenna Greenberg. This is Benji's daughter, to
83.
To a guy whose picture I don't have here, who was in his late 80s, and everything in between. The next one, please. The one of the wives, I think it was Harriet Merkowitz, said, "You guys need shirts." So she had these shirts made, and I'm wearing one that had, as a matter of fact, this is mine. Yeah, it says Yaakov, which is Jacob, which is Hebrew for my name, and the Ark Builders logo on.
Stand up so they can see.
I'm not on screen, honey.
Oh.
Anyway, next picture. Well, okay, here we are with the existing arc, and the new arc was going to be a lot taller. So we were just checking to make sure with these poles that were the height of the new thing, that we weren't going to bump into the ceiling, because we hadn't thought to measure how much room we had. All right, next. This is when people build things, they often write their names on the walls. They're going to get covered up with something else, but it's kind of, Kilroy was here. So we wrote our names inside this. Next picture, please. Well, here we are, building this new structure. All right. Now, we had to have we put a, they call it scaffolding. We put the scaffolding in because we knew we were going to need some way of hoisting these various parts in place. Next. This is Ben Greenberg, and the only reason I have this picture is that the suspenders that Ben is wearing are arc builders. They're arc builders special. They have a ruler on them, but they stretch. So if we cut a piece too short, oh no, it's the right length, Okay, next.
And that slide, you're actually making measurements in cubits behind his head there? What is it, 10 cubits?
Yes, I'm sorry. In back, there's a little sign that says 10 cubits. This thing, a cubit is about 18 inches. It's distance from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger, or somebody's elbow to the tip of his or her middle finger. And in the Bible, it describes the ark that contains that will contain the Ten Commandments, or the portable ark that contains the Ten Commandments, and it says it shall be 10 cubits high. Well, I didn't know that until after I designed this thing and we built it, and somebody said, "How tall is that?" And I said, 15 feet. They said, "Well, how many cubits is it?" I don't know. So I went to the Bible, looked it up. It's supposed to be 10 cubits. And it turned out to be 10 cubits. That's what's known as beshert. Okay, that's happy accident. All right, all kinds of interesting. Now, when people came to work, I had them sign their names in a log. And I told them that was so we could keep track of who was actually working on this thing. Because, we want to make sure if you said you were coming to work that day, we want to make sure you came. I lied. The real reason was because they wanted to capture their signatures. All right. And we captured our signatures because we wanted them on a plaque. And here's the plaque with the signatures of everybody who worked on this. There are 83 names. 83 names on it. The wood of the plaque is made from the old ark when we dismantled we stripped it down to its skeleton, but its skeleton was made of this beautiful plywood, and
It's like
so,
burled walnut to me.
say again?
I say it looks like burled
It's
walnut.
not burled walnut. I can't remember. I've forgotten the name now, but it's just exquisite stuff. Because it had never been oiled or taken care of, it looked almost featureless. But when I oiled this thing, it was just gorgeous. And so here's the plaque. And Alan, will you zoom in on the right-hand side so I can read it? Thank you. We asked Harold Kushner, who was one of our two rabbis at the time, for a quotation. And we said, we built this ark and coded this ark with our hearts in their hands. It was indeed a labor of love, not only for the ark builders, but for the 83 members of the congregation that worked on it. We had never realized, we never thought when we had asked for volunteers to help us build this, that it was going to work its way into the hearts of the people that worked on it. And it turns out that the people who worked on it don't say, I belong to Temple Israel. They say, I built Temple Israel. So, the next slide, please.
That's amazing. And you then had to take on the task of figuring out what, say, a 6-year-old or someone who maybe didn't know a hammer from a wrench could do to be a part of it, right?
Yeah, when we originally started this, Fred Merkowitz, who was always looking for ways in which things could fail, their design was well, no, I mean, it wasn't mean spirited. It was, you know, you were being constructive. We called it Fred Dr. Doom. All right. And now I've forgotten why I was telling you this.
About the lighting.
Divvying out jobs to different people of different skill levels.
Right.
Oh yeah. No, when I first proposed this, I said, we're going to need members of the congregation to help. Fred said, oh my God, you know, you're going to take people who maybe don't know which end of a hammer to hold. You're going to give them power tools. He said, so people are going to get hurt. And I said, Fred, God will watch over us. And he did, or she did. Anyway, let me move on. There's I don't know, what do you call this thing?
What thing?
It's a
little pedestal?
It's a pedestal, yeah, I guess. Anyway, it's a thing you put a book on and you
A stender.
well, but I wouldn't expect most people know what a stender is. But anyway, there's a little stand and people would stand behind this with their lecture notes or whatever. Well, I thought it had been stroked with an ugly stick. I mean, this thing, and it's actually stroked several times.
Stroke with an ugly stick.
About the most hideous looking thing I'd ever seen. So I said, we got to do something about that next. So I started to think of designs, you know, and obviously they had to be curved. They obviously had to have wacky wood in them. And here's my design. And the next one I think is picture of finished product.
Oh, much better.
It's quite different from the first thing. I think that somehow this is very feminine looking. This brings a lady to mind. And it also, it's a high tech because instead of having a microphone on a stand with a boom, this thing had a built-in microphone. All right. And the electronics are down in the base. And all you have to do is plug into the I don't know, you can't see it. A plug, there's a jack in the bottom, and you plug into that, and you're in the sound system. It also had
wheels.
Two wheels, so you could tip it back and roll it and set it up. Anyway, that's one of my favorite pieces. Let's see what's next. Oh, okay. The Fran Elevitz, who was the archivist at the time, the keeper of the history of the temple, asked me if we could build a display case for the lobby in which they could just display various stuff about the history of the temple. So I designed this thing. I'm not sure this is one of my favorite pieces, but it was, again, it's got a base that looks very much like the piece that was in the reader's desk in the chapel. Next, please, Al. And this is what the top looked like. Now, there's a whole big piece of plate glass in this, and the fact that when we I gave the drawings to the wife of one of the art builders. We were now up to 6, 7, or 8 people. Anyway, long story short, when we had this piece of glass made, and is it going to fit into this complicated curve thing? And we dropped it in, and it was perfect. And huge sigh of relief. Okay, next project. Fred Merkowitz's daughter going to get married. And she asked her father, she asked Fred, if the art builders could build a chuppah, a wedding canopy for her wedding. Now, a Jewish couple gets married, they get married under a chuppah. And a chuppah is usually nothing more than a square piece of cloth that's held aloft by 4 poles. And you have 4 guys who stand there holding the 4 poles, and this sort of piece of fabric overhead. But we said we will build a structure, and these are my preliminary drawings for it. And it was gonna, next slide, please. Here's what it looked like finally. It was a very graceful piece, I think. And as you can see from how it looks with the arc in the background, it's wide. It's about 12 feet wide. Next picture. The reason is it had to accommodate all of these people underneath, but it did. It worked like a champ. I forgot what was on top.
Taliesin.
Taliesin.
Oh, no, it's not Taliesin.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I can see them. You see the seat hanging down here?
Oh, I guess you're right. Yes, Pershwalls. It's covered with a whole bunch of Pershwalls. Anyway, this is a thing that goes together without any fasteners. All right, it's all things, tongue and groove joints. Anyway, this piece is going to be used a number of times in the future. We hadn't imagined that it would be, but it would be. And in fact, next slide, please. We are putting it now. There was somebody in my family. Oh, I think it was you, Alan.
It was me.
Yes, no. That was going to get married. And I said, he's got to get married under an ark builder's chuppah. But the thing you'd just seen in the previous picture was gigantic. So I made a new set of arches that cut the width of the thing in half. So now it was a square. It was actually a square. And we shipped these pieces to Chicago. Here we are putting them together. I think the guy on the extreme right is you, Alan.
That's me with more hair and less gut.
Yes. and a whole bunch of, some of the ark builders came to the wedding. The guy who in the back with the black pants, that's our dentist, came to the wedding. Anyway, next picture. And here is Alan and his bride, his first wife, getting married under. This thing is covered with prayer shawls of his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather, and I think some of the bride's
father, I think, as well.
Yeah. Okay. Moving briskly along.
Oh, excuse me.
The social hall in the temple had some room dividers that they would there's sort of a 4x8 sheet of plywood with
outrigger wheels
with outriggers and wheels on it that they could wheel around. So when there were excuse me, multiple things going on in the social hall, you could kind of divide the room space up. These things were again very ugly. Everything I see, if it doesn't have curves, it's very ugly. They were very ugly, and they had these outriggers that people would constantly be tripping over. So I said, let's build some room dividers that really better serve the purpose. Of course, it had to be curvy. So these things are like, I don't know, they're sort of 6 feet long. They're wavy, and I designed the curves. So if you look in the lower left-hand corner of this, you see a whole bunch of these curves stacked together. And they don't stack unless you design the curve exactly right. So that was the curve. And this is the idea that we're going to have a thing that is curved. in such a way that if you put the casters underneath, there are no outriggers. It's stable. It stands up and rolls all by itself. Next picture, please.
And I love the fact that you had the guy from Halloween be your model for this one.
Mhm. Yeah.
I have a question. How did you know how deep the curves had to be so it wouldn't tip over? How did you figure that out?
Well, I knew
From end to
I
end.
knew how high the thing needed to be.
Yeah.
I I knew how long it was going to be because of the dimensions of the plywood we were going to use. And the answer to your question is I don't know. I don't
Just
remember.
try it. See what happens.
Hey, try it. God smiles on fools. All right. Now, in the process of building this, while we were building these things, we had started and we cut out the plywood for the bases and the tops. We had an opportunity. Well, we had a problem. These things are big, and there wasn't enough room in Ben's workshop for us to easily assemble them. I mean, we could do it, but we were doing it in a narrow space between benches, and some space became available in the basement of the library. And Paula Polk, who's a librarian, offered us that space. And we said to work in that. That's wonderful. Thank you. And so here we are carrying pieces that we had made in Ben's shop to the library to work in the basement. Next.
Hold, please.
Here's what the finished product looked like. As you can see, it has no outriggers, just has casters underneath. And next picture, please. There's a whole bunch of them. We covered it with carpeting.
Carpeting.
All right, for sound absorption purposes. And they work extremely well. You can stand, you have two people standing on either side of one of these things, and it's very difficult to hear what the other person is saying. So this was functionally a very good. Next, back to the sanctuary. Well, we have on the right-hand side of the picture, you can see a little bit of the reader's desk and a little bit of the new ark. But there was still this dark wood on either flanking the ark. And these walls were, again, this dark walnut that had been, in fashion when the temple was built. And there's wording on top is Hebrew lettering that's in some square font that's absolutely unreadable. Well, it was clear that getting rid of those was going to be the next job. So if I can ask you to move to the next slide, please, Al. I gave some thought to what it might be. One of my friends suggested, well, why don't we have some planting? And so I think.
Hey, Dad, can I interrupt for a second? There was a question. There was a question in the group chat of what did you do with the old pieces of, the old reader's desk and the old Amud and the old, all the old pieces.
I don't recall.
What did we send to Arizona?
Excuse me 1 second.
I can tell you while he's checking that the
one
chuppah got reused many times.
Well, no.
Huh?
Well, no. The old reader's desk went in the dumpster. And I'm sorry, what was the question?
Oh, what did you do with the things you replaced?
With one exception, we trashed them.
Okay.
But something went to Arizona.
Yeah, but hold on, you're confusing me. I'm trying to get through this, honey. Anyway, So somebody suggested we should have planting. So this was a model that I made. Gee, that's a pretty good model. Look at it. Made out of corrugated cardboard. Um, and but we decided not to do this because it's indoors, there's insufficient light, things would have to be watered all the time. So we go to the next slide, please. So I said, okay, no planting, but I want those back walls, those dark black walls. I want to replace them with something with curves in it and veneered in the same material that the arc and the reader and the reader's desk are done in. So this was my design. And if we go to the next picture, these are those two side walls. These are really kind of complicated because those side walls are curved, but they're way too big to make out of wacky wood. So I said we will make it out of segments and sort of step a little bit with each segment. So here's the way those segments were built and veneered. Next slide, please. So here we are beginning to put up the support structure for the walls, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. They're all flat, but they're each one is offset a little bit, so the net result looks like a curve. Next, please.
So, Jay, did the temple have to be closed while some of these larger projects were going on, or did you just worship in the chaotic space?
Very good question. Yeah, during the summer, and we did this during the summer. They don't use a sanctuary. They conduct services in the social hall anyhow.
Okay.
So basically, we had the summer to do this in. And you begin to see over that person standing over on the left in the black. We put up the first two. No, zoom out. Oh, it's you, honey.
It's my mom.
Yes, it is. Zoom in again, please.
Hold on.
Yeah. That's you, Erica.
What do you know?
I recognize.
It was there.
I'd know you anywhere, honey. Right. Go back out. Okay. So you see, we've put up all of the support structures on either side, and we're beginning to put up the panels. I guess next, please. And we finished the left-hand wall, and we replaced those unreadable. I'll zoom in on the lettering. We replaced the unreadable stuff with this, which is sort of a regular Hebrew font and is much readable. Zoom back out, please. All right. So we finished one wall.
Actually, there it is. A lot easier.
Oh, there it is.
How did you do the letters? Did somebody make those?
Those are bandsawed out of solid walnut. Okay, those are not veneered pieces. Those are bandsawed out of solid walnut. Every once in a while we don't use veneer, but all of these walls behind it, all of that is veneer. If you're going to ask me what kind of wood, I don't remember. All right, zoom out, please.
Oh, that was the next slide. Here.
Oh yeah. So okay. So we're getting close to getting finished here. Next. And the platform at the level of the arc was a little too small. So we decided, oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah. The last thing that we wanted to do was to enlarge the bima, which is the platform that is on which the arc sits and on which that reader's desk sits, because things were getting kind of crowded. So I redesigned those, and again we asked congregation for help, and again we got 80 odd people, and some of them very odd. but we had such fun, and everybody had such a good time. And everybody who worked on it felt so invested. So I'm working with a power tools, and I have no idea. I never worked with a power tool before, and now I'm helping to build my own sanctuary. I mean, it's just yeah. I've built several things that involved a group of people. And I will tell you that building something that you can, after the fact, come and look at and say, I helped to build that, gives you a feeling like nothing else on earth. All right. So that's why I love group building projects. Anyway, we decided to enlarge the Bima. And let me just look at my cheat sheet there. And of course, it had straight steps going across. And I said, huh, can't have that. Next slide. I said, no, the front of this thing goes straight across now. Got to get some curves in it. So I'm starting to think, well, all right, how do we build that? Well, we'll have to tear out the front and put a curved wall in. Next slide. So here we are. We have cut away the front, and we're beginning to do J-Ball's curvy things. Now, if you take a look, I want you to look at this and imagine what this whole Lima looks like during this construction. I mean, it's a hell of a mess. During this construction, Joe Greenberg, Ben's father, died. And his funeral was going to be held in the sanctuary. Oh my God, it's a construction site. What do we do? I mean, we can't undo all of this now. Well, what we did was we cleaned up the sawdust. We covered all of this raw wood and structure that you see with brown paper. And we had Joe's funeral in the sanctuary with it looking like this. I said to Ben, could we clean it up? He says, well, just pick up the sawdust. My dad will be happy. And Joe never complained. Never heard a complaint from him. Next, please. The stairs. I wanted curved front to the stairs. Well, that meant that the risers, the stringers, those are the things that the stairs actually sit on. We're going to have to be of different lengths as in various places. So here's this complicated picture of and calculation of what the risers and the angles are. Next slide. And here we are beginning to install them. Next, next, please. And you see, this is getting pretty hairy. Again, there are strips of wacky wood that are, I think, no, I'm sorry, these are solid. The curvature was gentle enough so that we could use thin wood. But these are the stairs under construction. More. And we're getting there. Okay, we've closed in the risers. Next. Oh, and we've replaced the side walls. You can see behind, I think that's Dave Yarkin. Behind, we've replaced the side walls, which were the old ones covered in they were covered in the dark wood too. And so we're going to replace them with light covered stuff. And if you look, you can zoom in, Alan.
Yeah. On what?
On the back walls.
On these walls?
Yeah. Oh, and now zoom, pan right a little bit. No, you were fine. Just need a pan. Can you pan? No. Keep going. Keep going. All right, stop. Okay, so in this picture, you can see the difference. The thing on the left has that, again, that dark wood, and what we have on the right is the lighter panels. It's not a very good picture. Okay. So here are the steps. We're almost finished. One more, next picture, please. Now we're beginning to install the carpeting. We asked a guy named Mark Needleman, who is an interior decorator, to help us choose the carpeting and the chairs. And of course, Mark became an art builder. We're almost done. Next picture, please. All right, here we are in the process of putting on the carpeting. Next picture. And that's the finished product.
Wow.
Wow.
Right.
Good.
I miss my friends. I miss the camaraderie, the way we would meet Sunday mornings at Debson, and we'd have bagels and lox and coffee, and we'd go over the design for. Hang on a second. Well, I tell you what. Let me back up just a minute. I've got a couple more pictures I want to show you. Here, the next one, please. Once again, we asked people to sign the log, and once again we did a plaque with everybody's signature on it. And as you can see, there's a whole passel of people. I think it's 80 some odd once again. Next picture. Oh, on Saturday Shabbos services at the end, the rabbi breaks breaks bread, a loaf of challah, drinks a little bit of wine, and says blessings over those. Well, the wine and the challah, the bread, have to be somewhere. So I said, let's make a little table that because I forgot what they used to do with it. But anyway, I designed a table, and of course it's full of crazy curves. And the next one is a picture of it, I think. Yes. It's a round glass top. And as you can see, it's got curved stuff everywhere. Those legs, the things that connect between top and bottom, are wacky wood veneered, and so are the curves on the inside. I love wacky wood. It's great stuff. Next picture. Oh, on the bima, on the dais, the orchis, there are chairs, and that's where the rabbi and the cantor sit unless they're up at the reader's desk. Well, I had forgotten that they got to put their prayer books somewhere. So we designed this little thing that goes between, next picture, please. It goes between the chairs. And we covered it in the same material that the chairs are done in. Let me see. Oh, yes, the next picture. Oh, what to do with the Torahs. When you take on Saturday morning, you take out either one or two Torahs, depending on whether it's a holiday, some kind of special holiday or not. And when the Torahs are out and they're not on the reader's desk, you have to put them someplace. So there used to be these boxes on a sidewall that sort of look like telephone booths. They were really ugly and they were in the way. So I said, okay, we'll design something, a place to put the Torahs. So I designed this thing, which is a place to put the Torahs. Well, you're going to say, well, how do you do that? Well, next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Bingo. Okay. So the thing folds up against the wall. It's flat and takes up no room, but serves this nice purpose when it's got a hold of Torah. Next picture, please. The nursery school asked me to design an ark for the nursery school. Something that, now the original Ark of the Covenant was something that was carried around. All right. And it was carried around in a box that God described very clearly. It was so many cubits long and so many cubits high, and it was carried by four poles, and it was topped with cherubim looking at each other, and the whole thing was in gold. Well, I wanted to do as much of that as I could, so I designed an ark that was actually 2.3 cubits long, 1.3 cubits wide, and 0.85 cubits high. Now, I don't think God was using decimals, but the dimensions of this thing are in cubits. All right. And there are four poles. And if you give me the next slide, I think I have a picture of it. And there it is. And it's very light. And it's hinged on one side, so the cover opens up and it holds one small Torah, and it's light enough for the nursery school kids to carry. Next picture, please. This is something designed by someone else, one of the other ark builders. It was I guess it's called a trolley for who are the ladies who run the, oh, I don't know. Next picture. Oh, this is the
What's a gift shop?
the gift shop. And I guess we designed this thing. Other guys other than myself designed all this stuff, and we built some of it. Next. That's nice work. Next.
What's this?
Uh,
The library.
yeah. I want to tell you that you get this. Am I running too late?
Yes, you are.
That's all right. I mean, this one seems deserving of a long session, but I think you're about to talk about how you started doing things for places other than the temple, and that's a really important part of the story
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Well,
Besides, what are we going to do else today?
Exactly.
This is
Exactly.
fascinating, Jay.
And we
This is
we
so-
absolutely
No.
I need to tell you, Ricky called me last night, and the very end of this presentation, there's an offer for you. There's a way you can participate. We definitely people need to hang on to hear about that too. So
just want to say I am riveted, Jay, riveted to your presentation.
All right, and Dad, I will just say from a technical standpoint, you're maybe 2/3 of the way through your pictures,
wow.
if that's a gauge.
No, I just want to know if the Zoom is going to cut us off.
No, it won't. It keeps going.
All right. So listen, when I hear snoring, may I go on then?
You may go on. Yes, please.
All right.
The library.
Yeah. I won't go into the background of it, but we decided that we were going to build something for the library. We were going to build a castle. Now, the design of this castle had already been done by the architect who designed the refurbishment of the library and the building of the town hall. And he had designed this castle to be built in the children's library. But it turned out they didn't have the money to build it. But one day, Ricky and I were talking to the library director, and she said, "Oh, gee, we said we had some money we wanted to donate." She said, "Oh, I have this thing that I wish we could have built." I said, "What is it?" She said, "Oh, castle." I said, do you have the plans?" She said, "Yeah." She brings out the plans. I look at them and I said, "I think I know a bunch of guys who could build this for you." All right. And so.
Tell them what the castle is.
Well, I will. The castle is a playhouse, all right, for kids. And so the problem was that also when we mocked it up in cardboard, it was too big. the roof of it, which I didn't mock up in cardboard, hit the ceiling. So I took this architect's plans and I scaled them down and I redrew them. Next slide, please. And I redrew them. And these are all my drawings. And you see, this is a rather complicated structure. And we built it in a room right next to the children's library. Next. Well, it got built. It was in pieces. We built it in sections that we could get through the doorways. We reassembled it. And here's this is Ben Krensman and his mom. Okay, next. And that's what the castle looked like.
So cool.
Can I just interject one thing real quick, one comment?
Yeah.
Sure.
My kids played in that castle. I mean, I almost feel like I want to cry right this second because I had no idea that you did that. And I was so unbelievably grateful for it. We absolutely loved it, Jay. We hung out there a lot and we played in that castle and read books. And it really just was so fantastic of an experience for my boys. And thank you so much for doing that.
The castle is
You're welcome.
The castle is in memory of our son Jonathan. And we imagined him playing in that castle.
Yeah. Dale, who is the director of the children's library, says that little kids come in and the first thing they go to is the fish tank. And the second thing they go to is the castle. So which pleases us very much. And it's held up amazingly well. Next picture, please. That's the back side of it. We had a friend of Benji's who does decorative painting, painted all the flowers and the stuff on the inside. But the rest of it is all Arc Builder's work. And we're very pleased, very proud of that. Next. The temple, when the temple was refurbishing its nursery school, the whole building was full of plaster dust, including the sanctuary. It was so bad that we couldn't use the sanctuary. So we made a deal with the Hartford Street Presbyterian Church down the street to use their sanctuary on Saturdays. And we were very grateful to them for the kindness that they showed us. And I forget how the temple said thank you to them, but the art builder said, we want to say thank you too. So we want to make something for the church. And I talked to the pastor of the church and we kicked around some ideas. Finally came up with, well, he'd like a table for his lobby. So I said, all right, well, I'll design you a table. So designed a table. And I said, what can we do to make a table that's, just not ordinary? So I thought of a glass top that had that waves underneath. These are the drawings. The next picture, please. And this is what the table looks like. Now you can't see the waves in this, but the next picture, I think you can. All right. This is beautiful walnut. And of course, this is veneer over a bunch of forms underneath it. And with a glass top. That's just a gorgeous piece. Next.
Cool.
We built an arc for the
Metro West
Jewish Day School. They asked us to build an arc. And I said, okay, I had an idea. I wanted an arc with copper doors. And so next, it was going to look like this, and it was going to have their logo, which is a sort of tree of life thing. And these are my drawings for it. Next, here's Ben Greenberg working on the copper doors. The copper doors actually didn't work all that well, and the logo is in copper, but we what do you call it when it gets copper gets funky?
Anodized it or
And it's not anodized.
Patina.
No, whatever. Okay, next, please.
Oxidized.
oxidized. Yeah.
Yeah, next. So that's what it looked like under construction. Next. Here we are trying to. These doors were supposed to roll back into the curve of the box. Next, please. There's the finished product, and a whole bunch of kids from the nursery school of the Metro West Jewish Day School, and they sent us next picture. They sent us this lovely little note. We are so happy that you built an ark for us. Thank you for doing such a good mitzvah. You took so much time on it, and it is very nice. Sincerely, the Metro West Jewish Day School students. We thought that was absolutely adorable. Next, please. Sometimes we build very little, very simple things. There's a pair of bookends that we made as a going away present to the pastor of the Hartford Street Church. Next. John Miller's son was at, I forgot which college in Connecticut, but he belonged to, God, the words are failing me.
Was it Hillel?
Yeah, Hillel, right. Thank you. And Hillel needed a box for their tallisim, their prayer shawls. So we designed this box. Actually, John designed this one. And next slide. That's the finished box. Next. Top opens up so you can get, and then next. And there are little pegs that hang on the horizontal bars, and the prayer shawls hang on those. Next. The
Harriet's Closet.
Natick
Service
Council asked us if we could design a wall to enclose a space that they were going to call Harriet's Closet. They were going to have people who donate good shape used clothing, but they just wanted, could we build them a wall? Well, I said, sure, but it just can't be a wall with a square top. Now, this is, in a room that's got a ceiling 30 feet high. So clearly this is just going to be
decorative,
a short top wall. Anyway, I can't build things that don't have curves in them. So this is my design for the wall. Picture, please. And here we are putting it up. And next picture. And there's the finished wall to Harriet's Closet, which unfortunately no longer exists. They've expanded. They have expanded. They moved the closet and they tore the wall down and it's gone. Next. I want you to take a good look at this thing. Can anybody guess what it is?
It's one of those drinking birds.
Well, that's certainly evocative of a drinking bird. But anybody else got an idea?
Do you sit on it? Does it tip?
Yeah, it looks like a
like
seat.
a lever?
No, you don't sit on it. Okay, it's a music stand.
Oh.
Now our cantor was leaving, and we wanted to build a going away present for him. And I said, we'll make a music stand. Well, a regular music stand is a flat top and a column and some sort of a base. Well, that's pretty dull, and it doesn't have any curves in it. So I said, all right, I'll design something with curves in it. Well, this one got away from me. Next. Oh, I'm sorry, back up. Anyway, when we unveiled this, there was a going away party for Bob, and I unveiled this, and we said, ta-da! And I said, do you like it? And he said, what is it? Well, it is a music stand, all right, and it pivots. You can change the height of it because it pivots, and the whale tail back there is a counterbalance, so you don't have to lock it or anything. But he said, I think they use it as a coat rack. I'm not sure. Anyway, this was not one of my best days. But anyway, I thought I'd show it to you. Next, please. Rabbi Kushner. I forget what the occasion was, but the Ark Builders we wanted to make a gift.
A sphere, is that
Give
the
a gift
sphere?
to him. Now, we actually talked to Rabbi Kushner. Well, maybe we'd build you a table. Well, no. Anyway, we were kind of thrashing around. There was a holiday.
Well, people can relate to what it is. It's the 40 days between Pesach, Passover, and Simchas. What's the other holiday? Well, it relates. You have 40 days of Lent.
Anyway,
it relates to that. That's where it comes from.
There's a 40-day holiday. No, 40 days.
40 days between holidays.
Yeah, there's 40 days between holidays. Anyway, the way you count those is up to you. You can have a calendar and just mark it off, or you can have, a stack and put rings on it or whatever. There's nothing in the Bible that says how you keep count of those 40 days. But I said, let's make a, I wish I could remember.
Sphere.
What?
A sphere.
The sphere? Yes.
Sephira, I think, yeah.
Excuse me 1 second.
Let me have the phone.
Sorry, can't take you now. Call me later. I said, okay, I will design a sphere. And what came to mind was this. And I said, if we had marbles and we were able to stack the marbles up in 7 columns of 7. So I said, how do we do that? All right. So I said, here's this little base, and we'll have these poles sticking up, and we'll drop marbles in. And I took this to Dave Elovitz. And I said, well, what do you think? He said, I think you should go back to the drawing board. This is ugly stick again. So I said, all right, I'll try again, Alan. So here's the next design. It's a wooden base. It's actually a box. It's going to hold the marbles that aren't used. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tubes, clear tubes sticking up. And we're going to put marbles or whatever in them. And each one holds 7, whatever it is. 8, 7, 40. The total is going to hold 40 marbles. And it's going to be 2. Anyway, next picture. How do we get these tubes to stick in this thing? Well, the fancy, I don't want to bother describing it. Anyway, next. But it's a box. It's basically a box. All right. And we hollowed out the bottom of the box. Next picture. And here's the base before we stick the tubes in. Next. Dave found online at a place called Marbles R Us these wonderful iridescent marbles. There they are on the bottom. Next. And here's the finished product. The top piece and the bottom piece are 2 separate pieces, but they're held together by 2 magnets, very strong magnets. One of them in the near corner, and it's sort of pivoting on that magnet. But if you imagine swinging this top piece to the right, when it gets just lined up perfectly, the magnets grab a hold and it looks like one piece. That's the magnet. Tiny little magnet there, that little circle. But it holds those 2 pieces together like gangbusters. Anyway, next. All right. The tent furniture is now 10 years old and beginning to show signs of age. The screws are pulling out, beginning. So we need to design new tent furniture. Okay, Jay Ball to the rescue. Here we go. Wacky wood. This is a new reader's desk, very different from the one that John did. But I found that it was unstable, so we had to stabilize it with the wire and the
Turnbuckles.
turnbuckles. Anyway, next. They have in front of them a Star of David, which is made out of wood, which is very difficult to assemble. It requires several clamps, and this is John Miller's work. Next. This is a piece of furniture that holds Torahs on the outside when they're not in the ark. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the new ark. Had to be very shallow because the space was very shallow. Next. Next. This is the near Tamid that hangs over the everlasting light over the front. Next. This is Ben Greenberg fixing the curtains. Next. And that's the finished new ark. Now, it's no great piece of work, but it is a little bit fancier than the one it replaced. Next.
And Dad,
Yes.
the Ner Tamid in the old days was oil.
Yes, it was an oil lamp, and
The new one.
didn't Fred Merkowitz do a lot of work on the Ner Tamid?
no, not on that one. No, that's just a neon bulb.
Oh, okay.
Okay, next picture, please. Skip this one, and skip that, and skip that, skip that. Several of the ark builders had passed away by this point, and I had been saying to the guys, it's a shame that we couldn't build their coffins, because that's kind of the last act of love that you can do for a friend. Well, it freaks people out. They just said coffins. Ugh, I don't want to do that. But I finally convinced John Miller to work with me, and we built 4 coffins. One of them, all of them have been used to bury ark builders, except the last one, Rabbi Kushner was buried in. And I designed this, and John, next picture, please. John said we have to have dovetail corners, which is pretty fancy for a coffin. Next. But it went together. Next. And next one. When it was Rabbi Kushner's some anniversary, we wanted to build something for him, and we decided on building this bench, which sits just outside in the courtyard of the temple, and it's dedicated to his son Aaron. We had never built anything with curving solid wood like this. We had to steam bend the wood, and we'd never steam bent anything before. Of course, everything is new, and his name is laser cut through the legs. Next. In the chapel, the doors used to be just plain ugly wood like the stuff you see down at the bottom. I designed new doors which have a whole bunch of different veneers, different colored veneers. Looks like that. Next. This is a study carrel for the children's library. On the far side is a little desk where a mom sits or dad sits with their computer, and in the near part is an enclosed space where the crawler is. Crawler can see mom can see the baby, but the baby can't get out. unless it can reach over and unlock the door by itself. Next, please. And this is a, I don't know what the hell you call it. It's a playhouse, I guess, for the Natick Community Organic Farm. This is actually one that was a kit that we bought. So this is not our design, but it was Arc Builders built. Next. This is a commission, actually. This is an arc that's here at Orchard Cove. Bernice Sachs,
From the outdoor store.
yeah, she's the lady who owns, or her husband, Huck Sachs, owned the outdoor store. And this is in memory of Huck. It's the Ten Commandments there look like they're on stone tablets. They're actually on
Linoleum.
not linoleum. What do you call it?
Vinyl, right? Like sheet vinyl.
It's the vinyl flooring.
Yeah.
That had a look of stone, and we sent it out to a guy who laser engraves things, and he cut through them. Next, please. Finally, we are done with the with this, and I just want to say that I miss my friends. I really do. I miss the camaraderie. The way we would meet on Sunday mornings and have bagels and lox, and I'd show them my design for the latest thing, and everybody would critique it and tear it to shreds. But good naturedly, and then we go upstairs and work on things. But Ben has sold the building, and our shop is gone, and 8 of us have passed away, and like the rest of us have gotten older, and like it says in Ecclesiastes, everything there is a season. And I think the Arc Builder season we've run this course. But it was a great run. And there is a book which chronicles our 27 years together. My son David suggested that we write the book.
He campaigned.
And it took a year to do this. Rabbi Kushner wrote a foreword for it. And if you'd like to get a copy, here's Ricky to tell you how.
Well, they let me into the project. I would
sit in the middle, honey.
Yeah.
Because you're fuzzy.
I don't know what happened to my voice. My part was once they finished the book was to get it out in the world. So I did the bookings of talks about the book and got it into Amazon, which, by the way, has it listed for $329.99.
It should be so long. Hey, honey.
Yeah.
My point.
I don't know what's with my, but
how do people get a book?
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and when we printed the book, there was a minimum printing of 2,000 books, of which we have dispersed more than 1,000, but we still have several hundred books left. And I frankly think it's too beautiful a book to rot in a garage. And I'd love to see it out in the world. So, as most of you know, a lot of my background is raising money for worthy causes. So my thought was, if anybody's interested in having a copy of the book, there's a Hebrew word called chai, Chai, and it's a letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and it means the number 18. So when Jewish people give to charity, a lot of times they give in multiples of 18, which means good life to you, or life. This is a life-giving gift, or it's a play on the word life. So my thought was, if any of you, we will cheerfully give you a copy of the book, and hope that you enjoy it and that you really can share it with other people. And if you
feel you would like to do that, give a multiple of high to, we were thinking in terms of, I personally was thinking in terms of Save the Children, because there is so much hunger and pain in the world everywhere, that would be a wonderful charity. But if you want to do something closer to home, we've continued our support of the Natick Service Council and A Place to Turn. I run a bag collection here at Orchard Cove, and I distribute bags to both service councils so that they don't have to buy bags when people come
How
to
do people
take
get a
their
book?
food. But if you want to get a book, make a donation to the Natick Service Council or A Place to Turn. And there's a book that waiting for you at Jetson's. Benji is centrally located. He's an art builder. He's got a place to house books. And you can come at any time and pick up a book for free. Again, we'd love it if you would make a donation.
But you don't have to.
You don't have to. It's just a way of paying it forward and giving another gift of life to someone in the world.
So that's sure, you know.
And forgive me for interrupting, but Brinley Vickers, I see you had your hand up about something.
Yeah, hi Alan. I didn't want to interrupt their story. I'm happy to wait till they're done, but I'm also happy to just make my couple of comments. I have two. One is I'm very happy to have a book and make a donation, and I'm curious if there are books at the high school, at the Morse Library, and at Keep Tech, because if there aren't books at those three places, I would love to make a donation also to get them there, because I think this is an awesome thing to have in our local.
No, there is a book at Morse Library. We donated that.
I also just want to jump in here and say this book is not just any book. It's, people talk about coffee table books. This is just a gorgeous book. It's it's something people need to have. And to Brinley's point, donate and purchase more to put in some public spaces. People need to see this.
Yeah, it's
and by therefore hear the story behind it.
Absolutely gorgeous.
The only thing the book is missing is curved edges.
Well, so that brings me to two more comments. Maybe it's three comments. So the next one is when you were putting up the picture for the names who helped build the ark. I'm pretty sure maybe the word you were looking for was burl wood, BURL. That looks like
yes.
Yeah.
It's some kind of elm burl. I forget what. But yes, thank you.
Yeah, so I'll put a link in there to talk about burl wood because it's really pretty cool. It's from an infestation on trees. It's a highly prized wood. We see it on maple and walnut, and we see it on a lot of trees, and it's very sought after. And then I'm curious because my dad was an architect, and so I'm very familiar with drawings and plans and all of that. And how did you teach yourself to do that? Because that was some really amazing plans that you drew. They're really technical, and they're very, very clean and wonderful. And I'm just, I remember classes to learn to do that myself, and I'm just very impressed with your plans. And I'm curious, did you study that? Did you teach yourself?
Yes.
Well, you're gonna know Jay is an electrical engineer, but back back in the day when he was working, they used vacuum tubes. This was before transistors. He did layout boards for beginnings of computers and things. And he did one layout, which, if I look back in my, he had a big piece that must have been 4 by 6 feet, and it was black and white. And I thought it was handsome enough to be framed and hung up in our living room. So he has an artistic soul, and
That's artistic, not autistic.
and he's a clever guy. I'm very proud of him. And I gotta tell you one thing. When David came up with the idea for this book, and he really had to campaign for it, Jay didn't want to do it. He says, "Who's going to be interested in this?" But David persevered. And when we went to Jay's file cabinet, there was every single piece that he had designed in a separate manila envelope, complete with all the drawings and the pictures and the dates and everything. And you could start from the beginning and work to the end through 30 years of work. And there was the skeleton of the book already done. I mean, it was amazing.
These people want to go to lunch.
No, well, I think they're interested in what I have to say.
Well, you think so?
Well, so Ricky, I can say that I think you're right. I think a well-crafted set of plans is beautiful and oftentimes worth framing. And then the only last thing I wanted to say was I find your love of curvature to be very zen. It's very feng shui. And I know that's a mixing of cultures, but I feel like everything comes full circle, and the give and the take it's a part of the universe. And so I think it's quite wonderful that you encompassed that into your love and your vision of design, because I really think that the curvature is something. And when we were redoing our kitchen, I felt the same way. And so I searched out cabinets that had curved endings on them instead of squares, and arches for the doors instead of flat squares. And I have really, really thoroughly enjoyed this, and I love the zen of it.
Well, the other thing that I think is wonderful is when we go into the synagogue, to us, it's very special because of Jay's built-in love of every inch of the place. He did that for the Art Center when he ran the project of the cupola. He didn't design the cupola, that was done before, but the building of the cupola and that whole project was another example of an investment in a town and a place of things that Jay has loved in Natick, in addition, of course, to his time that he spent on the board. So I think you have a sense of why Natick means so very much to us. And the part of Natick that we love the most is all of you, the people who make the life of the town, and why we can't let go of you, why we just hang on until there's no more of us. So you're stuck with us. You're stuck with us one way or the other. And I'm wearing my 4th of July shirt because I have volunteered to be on the 4th of July committee. And I want to be part of the celebration. I'm so sorry that it isn't on the 250th anniversary of our country, but I'm working to make sure that there is a country in the 51st year of our existence. And I hope that all of you are working at that too.
On that cheery note.
On that cheery note, yes.
I want to thank you all for your patience.
Yeah.
This may have been longer, maybe a lot longer than you expected, but well, thank you.
I'm super
Thank you for
appreciative
listening.
that the
And I
power held
must,
up, and we've got a video recording now of all of this, and I'll be getting you out the link to that later on. Jay, thank you. Thank you for this morning, but thank you for 30 years. The community and the world thanks you. This is just this has been a very special Coffee with a Purpose, I think.
well, yeah, I want to thank our projectionist too. Thank you,
Yeah.
Alan.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks, Alan.
You're
Can
welcome.
you
And
fly to Massachusetts and help all of us with shovel our snow now, please?
You know, I'm both sad and pleased enough to say that I am now old enough that I can say no because it'll throw my back out. I already did that here with our last snow, so I'm no. Love you, but no.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody stay warm, stay safe.
and any of you who want to get a book for someone else, you can do that.
Take it.
If there's anybody here who feels moved to sort of be the engine behind the book, let me know, and we'll make sure there are enough books at Benji's to satisfy
I'll
the
make sure of that.
demand.
It's a pyramid
Okay.
scheme.
Well,
Okay.
again,
great.
thank you both so much. We always close Coffee with a Purpose with giving Brinley an opportunity to talk about local events other than shoveling our driveways, I guess. And also just to let folks know that as we move into March, we move into election season, and the entire month of March is now filled up with candidate forums for both the contested and uncontested races. We'll have select board candidates, school committee candidates, health board incumbent as well. A second thanks to Brinley, actually. She was the one that lined up the scheduling of all of the speakers. So thank you very much for that, Brinley. And are there local things we need to pay attention to this week?
So there is a school committee meeting tonight and select board meeting on Wednesday. I don't know. I'm assuming that the school committee meeting tonight will go all Zoom if it happens. I'm not sure. There hasn't been any canceling of it yet, but there it is. And the only excuse me, the only public service announcement that I have is please look out your driveways and see where your closest fire hydrant is. And if no one else has shoveled it out, please shovel it out because, it would suck for something to happen in the fire department, get there and they can't access it. So it's always a really nice thing for us to keep those shoveled out and to remember to shovel scrape the snow off the top of your car because it turns into a heavy block, especially with this wet snow that we have, and then can come off and damage cars behind you. And so those two things I think we sometimes forget. And so there you go.
Great. Yep. Thank you for both of those announcements. And thanks again, Jay and Ricky. Fantastic. What a great way to spend the morning. All right. Enjoy the storm. We are New Englanders.
Thank you, everyone, so much.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to turn the recording off.
Sarah,
Yeah.
Bye.
Sarah, if